All right, y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for us to go live and do a weekly trading recap just to get it going. Got to have that weekly trading recap. But if you're rocking with me, just let me know. Of course, we got to start it off with the disclaimer. So, with that being said, hold on, let me get this right. Let me get this right. All right, so for the disclaimer, we already know what it is. It is Please note that the following is not legal advice and is provided for informational and educational purposes only. Investing in securities carries a high degree of risk and could result in the loss of your entire investment. You should consult with a qualified financial advisor or a legal professional before making any investment decisions. The information contained in this presentation does not constitute an offer or solicitation to buy or sell any securities or other financial instruments. Any opinions expressed in this presentation are subject to change without notice and should not be relied upon as a recommendation to buy or sell any securities. Please do your own due diligence or research before making any investment decisions. All right, so we've got through the formalities and the disclosure and things like that. So now we could tap into this week's trading recap. And if you're joining me, I thank you for the live. Yo, Melissa Parsons, thanks for tapping in. Victor, thanks for coming in. Durin, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. So we're just going to do a quick recap. I'm going to bring up my trading journal for the week. And let me kind of adjust it so we can see it on the screen right quick. But this is the website app/program called TradeZella. So you guys can see my trading performance for the week right here. So basically started off a little shaky on Monday with some Apple options contracts, but then I bounced back and I had green trades, green days for the rest of the week. So the key here is to give y'all the most value. Marzi, thanks for joining. Yo, shout out to Money. Thanks for joining. Gina Bina, I see you. Thanks for joining. So the key here is to give you guys value. So whatever you have in terms of questions, in terms of how I traded this week, what I was looking for, my setups, whatever the case may be, go ahead and drop those in the chat because the key for today is giving you all maximum value. Yo, Champagne, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. So what I have here are my trades that I took for the week. And as you can tell, I stick with the same handful of tickers. So, yo, shout out to Mocha Ray. Thanks for joining. Shout out to user 4802780279677. Thanks for joining. Drop some likes on the live, y'all. We're doing a weekly trade recap for the noobs, for the beginners. So if you have any questions whatsoever about trading, anything from the basics to intermediate, maybe even a little advanced, I do want to focus on the beginners. Go ahead and drop those in the chat. And of course, give me a thumbs up if the audio sounding good. Shout out to Brian Pruitt for joining. But what we're looking at right here is my weekly trading recap. This is a website or an app called TradeZella, and basically it gives you all the statistical data about your trades. They plug up to your broker's API. So if you're using Robinhood or Thinkorswim or something like that, all the trades that you do automatically get fed into TradeZella as a trading journal, and then you can just look at your performance. So if we scroll up a little bit and I can bring this down, we see that this week I made $673. And with that being said, my trade expectancy for this week. So for any given trade, what this means is I could expect to make just under $100 on the trade. That's the trade expectancy. And that takes everything. It's a rough average. That takes all your losses, all your wins. And it just basically says, yo, at any given trade that I take, hey, what's up, Monroe? Lizzie Monroe, thanks for joining. What this means is that they're saying any trade that I take on average, I'm gonna make $100. And this week, I made $673. So if you got any questions about trading options, drop those in the chat because my goal is to give you as much value as possible. I had to slide my screen back over so y'all can see me. But so we get into some other statistics. Let me kind of move this into a place where I know it's going to be just cool. I'll bring it down just a bit. We'll bring this down. All right, so here's my profit factor at 3.47%, and I had an 86% win ratio. Now, just a reminder, if you're new to trading, one of the things that's going to happen psychologically is you're going to think that you need to take more trades, and you don't. As you see right here, I only took 7 trades this week, and that's about it. Now, if you're new to trading, like I said, you might be enticed to do a lot of trades. Let me stop you right now. You don't need to do that. Actually, for me, in my journey, the less trades I take, the more profitable I become. So I'm at a stage now where one of my daily trading rules is to take no more than 2 trades a day. I like to do one and done and go on about my business. And that's usually what happens. Usually I do one trade a day, as y'all can see right here on this trading journal. I do one trade a day and I'm done. You see one on the 9th, one on the 10th, one on the 12th. I didn't even trade yesterday. So, Lizzie, I see that you're rocking with me. I appreciate you, Champagne. I appreciate you. Just do me a favor, drop some likes, please. And of course, if I can answer any questions, that's the number one thing that I want to do. But in the meantime, in between time, we can start with today's trade, which we could see here was on SPY. And I will show y'all what I was looking at. So I'm going to use TradeZella. This is what I just pulled up. This is what I use for charting. So if you're new to trading, this is a platform called TradeZella. This is what you use to do your charting, basically your technical analysis to help you plot out your trades. And let's take a look. I still got the replay on. I was doing some back testing earlier, so let me turn that off. And then we're going to look at today and we're going to break down specifically what I saw, what I was trading in terms of SPY. Now, just to give you a heads up, I like to trade on the 30-minute time frame. What does that mean? If you're new, that means each one of these bars or each one of these candlesticks represents 30 minutes of time. So now let me go and get into what I was talking about. Let me bring it back so we can see it one more time. I did this trade here today. I made $224 trading SPY. I'll bring up the data right here so we can see it. And you can see that I took a short, which is puts. I got 4.35%. And that's another disclaimer too. Don't feel like you got to have a home run every time you enter a trade. 4%, 5% consistently adds up very, very fast. Just imagine if I'm averaging about $100, as TradeZella said, or even $200 a trade, that's a quick extra $1,000 a week. A quick extra 1,000 a week. You saw at minimum, I made $600 this week. So anywhere from 600 to 1,000 a week is really, really cool. Yo, my biz, thanks for joining. And then the dope thing about TradeZella is it brings up your chart too from your trade. Now it defaults to the 1 minute chart, and I don't trade on the 1 minute, I trade on the 30. But let's get into it. Let's get back to it. So what we saw here, this is the pre-market over here on the left-hand side of the screen in the orange. And the pre-market showed, at least in those last candlesticks, some bullish sentiment, right? It started off a little bearish over here on the, let me bring it over. All right. So here we go. Pre-market for SPY. Started off a little bearish. We hit the daily 50% for the previous day. And we saw that the daily 50% gave us a little bit of support. And then we turned into bullish activity. But what happened when the market opened? We got this strong shooting star or upside down hammer. Either way, however you look at it, it's more like an upside down hammer than it is a shooting star. But it literally hit yesterday's previous high. Now, if you are new to trading options, it's important that you write this down. So, Lizzie, I don't know if you're new. I appreciate you rocking with me. So I'm going to speak to you, Lizzie. But if you are new trading options, what you want to write down in your notes is support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support. So that's one of the key things that really holds true. So this, what we're looking at right here, this was yesterday's activity. And we can see by this white line, this was the high. This was the highest point that SPY got to yesterday. Now, if we fast forward in time, let's bring it back over to today. We see that the high from yesterday, good. Shout out to Mocha Ray. She typed it in the chat. Support becomes resistance. So we see that today, once SPY hit that high, it was still resisting and then it bounced down. When I saw this upside down hammer form, it was an indication to me to go ahead and enter puts. So I entered puts right here. And then I did a quick scalp. No need to get greedy. Hit my like 4%, my couple of $100, took my money and I was gone. I could have held on a little bit longer to get more money, but that's one of the things about the market and having trading psychology. You might get caught off guard with greed when you should just be taking your money and going. Remember that too. Take profits and go. Take your profits and go. That's going to save you a lot of pain and heartache in this trading world. But now when it comes to trading, one of the things that really helps me out, yo, soy sauce, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Good shout out to my biz too. I see you back. All right. So we're doing just trading recaps for the beginners out there. My TikTok page, my content is all about trading for beginners, as well as some financial literacy as well, but mainly right now about trading options. And so we're going over my trade for today. using SPY on the 30-minute chart. So if you're new to looking at stock charts, this is what we're looking at right now. Each one of these rectangles is known as a candlestick, and I trade on what's known as the 30-minute time frame. So each one of these represents 30 minutes of time. Now, the indicator that I wanted to show y'all, and I'm not trying to oversell indicators or nothing like that. I'm just telling you about one that really, really helps me. It's called the SSS 50% rule. Let me bring this down so we can see it. Hopefully this works. All right. Here it is right here. So if you want to make a note of it, it's called the SSS 50% rule. It was actually created by a young lady by the name of Sarah Strat Sniper. That's her name on X or Twitter. So if you go to Twitter and look up Sarah Strat Sniper, she is the one who created this indicator right here. And it's really dope because what it does is each day it automatically puts on your stock chart what the previous day high was, the previous day low, and then where the 50% right in the middle is. So if you're rocking with me, drop a like on the chat, just giving out what I use mainly on a daily basis for my indicators. So with that 50% rule created by Sarah Strat Sniper, let me go ahead and bring this up right here. We saw that today SPY bounced down off of the previous day high, especially with this strong hammer, this upside down hammer. That was my signal to enter puts. I got in on this candle, had a quick scalp. I think my overall trade was about 22 minutes. Took my money and I went. IV Mex, or is that 4Mex? Go ahead and big shout out to you. Thanks for joining the live. We're just doing a trade recap for beginners. So we're looking at that 30-minute time frame on SPY. And then what we saw for just a amount of time, a decent amount of time for the day, that 50%, which is this blue line right here in the middle, you see how it was support for SPY. SPY did not want to go below that. So that's why I use that indicator, because it's a good gauge. And of course, no indicator is perfect. We know that, right? No indicator is going to work 100% of the time. You just want to find the ones that are a good guide for you to help you with your trading strategy and your trading style. That's the number one thing. So Ivy Mix says, what is this brother indicator? We're talking about the Sarah Strat. I'll bring it down for you one more time, my guy. This one right here. So if you have TradingView, it's a free indicator, and it is the SSS 50% rule indicator. And it's a free one. You don't need to, sign up or do anything like that for it. You can automatically add it to your favorites. And what it does is every single day, it will automatically plot out the previous day's high, the previous day's low, and then the 50% right in the middle. So this was yesterday on SPY. And so this is one indicator that I use every day to help me plot out some daily support and resistance areas. And as we see, it played out perfectly, well, almost perfectly. So SPY hit that daily high from the previous day. It bounced down with this upside down hammer. I took my puts, got in, and got out. So pretty simple. Like, one thing that I like to do is I like to keep my trading style very simple. I don't feel like there is any extra reason for it to go overly complicated, to have all of these components and mechanics that you got to memorize. No disrespect. All right, so Ivy Mix says how you enter what time frame. So I trade on the 30-minute time frame, and every now and then it gets a little hard if I try to show it on this screen with y'all. But when I'm trading on the 30-minute Ivy Mix or 4Mex, I will go down to a lower time frame, like the 5-minute, just to see where there is a strong candle to the upside to get in. Because as we all know, most candles, like 95% of them, have wicks, which are these lines that are on the top and bottom. And so, yo, big shout out for those that just follow me. I appreciate that. Somebody just gave me a follow. Their screen name is in a different language, different characters. So thanks for the follow. I appreciate you. But to Ivy Mex or 4Mex question, 90% of the time for myself, I trade on the 30-minute time frame. And then I might every now and then I'll bring up the 5-minute time frame just to look for a potential entry. So like a nice bullish candlestick, maybe a hammer, a nice bullish hammer, something like that to enter on. So that's my main trading style, just following that 30-minute. I'm more of a scalper. That's what works best for me, my mentality, and the way that I trade. That's nothing against, full-fledged day traders or swing traders. It's just right now where I'm at in my trading journey. the 30-minute scalps work best. So for me, my average winning trade is about 10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes. Today was somewhat of pardon me. Today was somewhat of a unique day because the trade took 22 minutes. And I actually have a screen recorded. I should have sent it to my computer already because I always like to show as much transparency and proof. Ivy Mex says, "How you get in and out? I love scalping." Now that's somewhat of an art form. That is somewhat of an art form, but I appreciate a fellow scalper. So shout out to you. I appreciate fellow scalpers. Do me a favor, just show me a little love on the likes on the chat. I appreciate anybody that's liking it, that's sharing it. Hopefully, Lizzie Monroe's still in here. I just want to answer any questions. So, in terms of getting in and out, there's two main things. I'm looking at price action just to see if it starts to get shaky. Because if price action starts to like get shaky, I'm out of it. I don't care, if I've only made a little bit of money or if I'm like kind of breaking even, I'm gone because when price action gets shaky, that's when the market gets a little, you know what I mean? It gets real finicky. Or if I hit my defined profit target, which is 5%. Anywhere from 5 to 10%, I'm really happy with it. I'm good. So I don't need to be greedy. I know there's some people that, they don't get out of bed unless it's 50%, 100%. Big shout out to them. I just like the ability to have low pressure, nice consistency to get in and out. And that's why those two things mixed together, not having a crazy profit target and being a scalper, they go hand in hand, in my opinion, because that quick 5%, 10%, 3%, those will pop up quick for a scalper and I get in and out. Now, I will say one thing though that I've learned about myself and my own psychology is that scalping has made me very, very impatient. That's one thing for sure. And so I want to challenge myself to start getting into swing trading as well so I could balance it out and I could start having some patience. Because for me, after about 10 minutes, I'm like, yo, what's going on here? So today was like a really crazy day for me because the trade took 22 minutes and that felt like a lifetime. So that's one of the downsides, at least for me as an individual, about scalping, which is it makes me very, very impatient. But any other questions? I love the questions, and I feel like that's the best way I could serve y'all. Thank you so much for liking the live. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I wish I knew how to pronounce your name, but I can't tell based off of the foreign characters. So if you could just drop in the chat how to pronounce your name, I just want to give you a shout out. But I appreciate you for following me. I appreciate the likes. Thank y'all so much. It means a great deal to me. All right. Now, one thing I definitely will encourage you to do is to get a trading journal. Please, please get a trading journal. Like I said, I use TradeZella, which is this right here. I'll try to show y'all what it looks like. Boom. So you know which one to find if you do want to use TradeZella. It is kind of costly, but it does have a lot of features and integrations and a lot of calculations that you don't have to do on your own. So let's go back. How do I get back to this? Was that it? Uh, y'all bear with me. It's always kind of tricky for me to try to navigate uh on here. Was this to it? There we go. All right, so we're back. So that was today's trade. If I need to go over it again, y'all just let me know. I appreciate Gurjinder Singh for joining. Thank you so much. Y'all let me know how the audio is sounding too, if I'm sounding good. But let's go over another trade. Okay, so this one, like yesterday was CPI, Consumer Price Index. I didn't trade. I probably could have because I looked at the market and it didn't seem like it was too crazy. I thought it was going to be crazy, but that's just a reminder, like I said at the beginning. When it comes to trading, if you're new, you might have this urge or this desire because of the excitement to do a lot of trading. And you don't need to. 9 times out of 10, less trades equals more money. So one of my rules, I'll just remind y'all for me, is I don't like to do more than 1 or 2 trades a day. And I can show you the perfect example right here. Look at this. Right over here on the right-hand side on Monday, I did 4 trades and ended up losing money. You see, that's the perfect example. I did 4 trades on Monday and lost money. But if we keep bringing it over, look at this. 2 trades made money, 1 trade made money. So whenever I break my trading rules, which is over trading, I end up losing money. So for me, less trades equals more money. I don't want to necessarily tell you exactly how I used to trade. I just want you to learn from my experience so you don't have to go through the same heartache and the same pain. Typically, less trades is more money. All right, what we got next is the Amazon $210. Let's go back and find that. That was on the 10th, and this was calls. So let's go back and find Amazon and see what I did there. All right, where you at, Amazon? All right. Like we said, I trade on that 30-minute chart. So all the charts that you're going to see are going to be on that 30-minute. Oops. All right. And now we need to find the 10th. And if it's too much going on my chart, if you guys want me to turn off some of the indicators, just let me know. Or if there's some indicators that you want me to explain, let me know as well, because I definitely don't mind doing that. How can I try to bring this right? There you go. All right, all right. Trying to get the visuals just right for y'all. Thank you for the likes. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for the likes. Thank you. Thank you. All right, where are we at? So this is Amazon trade on the 10th. Now, just to let y'all know, I'm on California time. So if you hear me refer to certain times like, 6:30 or 7 o'clock, just know that it's California time. So if you're on the East Coast or if you're in a different time zone, it might be different for you. So just keep that in mind. All right. So here we go. Here is Amazon right here, 30-minute chart. I'm going to move this over just a little bit so it's more centered. Hopefully. There we go. Now, Amazon was pretty bullish on the 10th. Let me bring up my manual trading journal. And I entered my signal was 6 o'clock on a bullish engulfing. My bad. So I also have a manual trading journal. I keep the TradeZella and I keep the IVMX says, I noticed the indicator changes color when start changing directions and when not the same number. I'm not too sure what you mean by that. Help me out so I can kind of get into that for you, IVMX or Formex. I noticed the indicator changes color when start changing directions and when not the same number. So I'm not too sure which indicator are you talking about? Which one? That way we can get into that together and we can break that down. I appreciate y'all for the likes. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I wish I could tell who that person is so I could pronounce their name right, but thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, let's see, let's see. So I'll wait for Formex or IVMX so we can get into what he's talking about with that indicator. But in the meantime, my trading journal said my signal was 6 o'clock. So even the pre-market. Now I'm gonna keep it real. If you're new to trading, most seasoned traders that I follow that are like that I view that are top tier in their game, they don't use pre-market data. And me personally, I feel like pre-market data should be acknowledged. But I just want to give y'all that fair disclaimer that the traders that I kind of look up to, that, the ones that are, make thousands of dollars every day, most of them have indicated to me that they don't use pre-market data. It doesn't go into their technical analysis. For some reason, me individually, um, IVMX says, sorry, was just thinking loud, just trying to get this. No idea. No worries, no worries. We can figure it out together. Just let me know if you were talking about that Sarah Strat sniper indicator, or if you're talking about one of the other indicators on my chart. Like I have the Strat Assistant on here too. That's what all these numbers and colors are. So I can break that down as well. But just as I was saying, most of the top tier traders that I follow, they don't take into account, they don't really care for pre-market or extended hours data. I kind of do. Now I've asked why don't they? And they say it's because it's much, much easier for the market makers or the big financial institutions to manipulate the pre-market data to throw people off. And I definitely do believe that. But at the same time, I think if you have data available to you, you should be able to use it at your fingertips to acknowledge it, even just so you have it visually, just so you can see what's going on. So for me in my trading journal, when it came to this Amazon trade on the 10th, what I saw was this small little bullish engulfing that happened right before the market opened right here. You see where I'm circling around on the cursor? So for me, when I saw this bullish engulfing and it doesn't look like the what's the name indicator is on, let me turn it on. I'm going to turn some of the other ones off and we'll kind of get into this together. We'll turn them on bit by bit. Um, hold on. Let me turn that off. Okay, so the reason why we don't see the Sarah Strat sniper is because it's loaded for today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the replay and then we can see exactly what it was telling us for back then. All right, so we'll bring it to right here. cool. So now let's bring it over. So what I did right now, if you're new to using Trading View, this what's right in front of us. Trading View has this really cool feature where you can go back in time and do back testing. So I was able to reverse time travel and look at, yo, Leticia Williams, thanks for joining. Big shout out to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we're just doing a trade review on my Amazon trade. I'll show you right here where I made 210 bucks. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy, but it was $210 in less than 20 minutes. So I always like to do trade reviews for people that are new to options trading. And of course, Leticia, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. But right now, what we're doing is a trade review to my options trading on Amazon. And this was on the 10th. So we're back to the 10th. I did today's recap and I'll do it again for you in just a moment, Leticia. But we're looking at this Amazon trade right here where I took calls for 210 bucks. So what I like to do, just to give Leticia a recap and she can catch up with us, I personally trade on the 30-minute time frame. So if you're new to options trading, what that means is each one of these candlesticks represents 30 minutes of time. And my trading style is I am a scalper. So I want to show y'all what I looked at and what I was looking for when it came to Amazon on the 10th. So what we have right here in this blue shaded area and this orange shaded area is the extended hours trading. These are the hours where people trade before the market is officially open. So right here on the right-hand side, this is the pre-market. So this is the morning of the 10th, right before the market open. I saw this small, and I'll zoom in on it just a little bit. I'll make it bigger. I saw this small little bullish engulfing. Now, we have to get the day started for the Sarah Strat sniper indicator to get going so we can see it. Boom. All right, cool. Now, this was this candlestick off of this bullish engulfing, which is right where I entered, and we see it shot up. Now, what's one thing that we notice is that it was already above the previous day's high. And when I see a setup like that, where it's already above the previous day high with bullish momentum, that's a signal for me to take calls. The next thing all you really have to do is plot out where the resistance would be over the previous day's high. Where is SPY likely to stop? But sometimes I don't even do that because I know I'm a scalper and I'm going to get in and out. So I just took my 210 bucks. I'm happy. I can go on about my day and keep it pushing. Like I said a moment ago, I don't need to have a home run every single time. These $200 will add up. Just think about that. 200 bucks times 5, that's an extra $1,000 a week. Most of us, that's going to help you out. An extra $1,000 a week, extra 4Gs a month. I mean, I'm not trying to paint and oversell it, but we're just talking about rough averages. So I think a lot of times we get distracted, right? We don't really give the shout outs and we don't really appreciate having the small consistency the way that we should. So that was the longest short of how I traded that Amazon play. And like I said before, yo, what's up, Money? Thanks for joining. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. We got Spiker Doodle. Thanks for joining. But like I said, that's the longest short of it. My trading style is like this. I trade on the 30-minute time frame. I'm a scalper, so most of my trades are less than 30 minutes. Most of my winning trades are 10 minutes or less. And then I try to keep my trading strategy as simple as possible. I don't want to make it too crazy where you got to remember all these things. And I'm not knocking anybody who does that, because the dopest thing about becoming a trader is you find what works for you. That's the dopest thing. You find a style and a strategy that works for you. My goal is to be as completely as transparent as possible with new traders so you guys could learn from my mistakes, my heartache, my pain, and you could bypass it. You can get past all that and get straight to having success sooner than I did. So that's the long and short of it. And that is how I did the trade for Amazon on the 10th. Now, the dope thing is, if you're taking notes, what you should do is take a screenshot of this, and we can even go look at the SPY trade from today. The dopest thing that'll help your back testing is take a screenshot of a successful trade. We can look at the SPY once it loads. Hold on, let me bring it back for y'all. All right, I have to explain it for people that just joined, but you could take a screenshot right here of the successful trade. Then you start making notes, and then you go back and back test. You go back and look for every time that this setup occurred. And that's exactly how you back test. And you back test as much as possible. So you go back in the past and you look for every time the chart looks similar to this. and you let your eyes get familiar with this setup. That way, in the future, when this does pop up, your eyes will easily recognize it. You'll know, okay, this is where Curtis G jumped in. He took puts, he made a quick couple $100, and he was on and out the way and about his day. So, Leticia, if you're still on right now, I said I would give you a recap of this trade that I did today. Just let me know if you want to see a recap, or if you're still on, drop a one or something in the chat, because I would be more than happy to give a recap for anybody who wants to see it. So just let me know if you're still on, if you guys want to see a recap of the trade that I did today. We just saw the Amazon one that I did a couple of days ago on the 10th, but let me know. All right, Ivy Mex got to one. Thank you. Shout out to you. Leticia Williams liked the live. So I'm going to take that as we're going to do the recap again for the trade. Appreciate you. I see you. I see you, Leticia. All right, so let's look at today's one more time on what I did for today's trade. I'm going to kind of make this bigger. Now, first thing, if you guys are taking notes, and like I said, I'm just giving y'all suggestions. First thing that you want, especially if you have Trading View. So what we're using right now to do this charting is Trading View. The indicator that I use on a daily basis is this one right here. This one right here, which is the SSS. Yo, La Gringa Orco, thanks for joining. La Gringa, big shout out to you. I appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by, blessing us with the time. I appreciate you rocking with us, La Gringa. Thank you. Thank you. But so if you have Trading View, make a note that this is the indicator that Curtis G uses on a daily basis. It is the SSS 50% rule indicator. Yo, big shout out to Spiker Doodle. Thank you for following me. That means a lot. That really means a lot. So this indicator right here was created by a young lady by the name of Sarah Strat Sniper. She has a nice YouTube channel where she breaks down the strat. If you don't know what the strat is, it's a pretty robust or pretty simple. I shouldn't even say robust, but it's a pretty simple and straightforward way to learn how to get entries and exits with your trading. So I highly, highly encourage you to learn the strat. But it's created by a young lady by the name of Sarah Strat Sniper. Yo, Celine Sells Bricks. Big shout out to you. Yo, everybody go check out Celine Sells Bricks page. Really, really dope. Really, really dope. Thanks for joining. Thanks for stopping through. But also check out Sarah Strat Sniper on Twitter. So she's on Twitter and YouTube. She's the one who created this indicator. So now let me get to the punchline on today's trade. So with the Sarah Strat, thank you for the likes. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right. So what did I do for today? Let's break it down together. Let's break it down together. Now, with the Sarah Strat Sniper, the SS 50% rule indicator, it automatically puts on your chart what was the high of the previous day, which is this white line right here. What was the low of the previous day, which is this white line on the bottom. And then it also marks out the 50% right in the middle of the previous day. So right in between the high and the low, right at the halfway point, right there. Now, what did I do? What was I looking for? One thing I want you to make a note of, and I said this earlier, please, 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 if you're new to trading, some of us probably already know this, but this is all for the noobs, for us beginners. If you're new to trading, write this down in your notes. Support becomes resistance, and resistance becomes support. Write that down. Now, what do I mean by that? So this today wasn't an exact flip-flop of that, but it also showed where resistance stayed strong and where support stayed strong. So with the Sarah Strat Sniper, the SSS 50% indicator, we see that from yesterday going into today, the market or SPY was really respecting that high. So what we saw was, and I'm going to zoom in a bit so we can really take a look at these candlesticks. We saw that there was some bullish momentum in the pre-market. And then when the market opened up right here on this candle, it kind of tried to blast through the yesterday's high, but the yesterday's high was still resistant. It still holds strong. Then this candlestick on the 30-minute chart, it ended as an upside down hammer or a shooter. I consider it to be a hammer, not so much as a shooter or a shooting star, but it ended as a very, very strong hammer. And this strong hammer with this solid candle body right here was a big indication to me that we were still going to be moving down. So on the next candle is where I entered in puts. I did a quick scalp, no more than like 10, 15 minutes, got my couple $100, and then I was outro like Gwyneth Paltrow. All right. So, but what we also saw was on that daily 50%, I'm going to move it up a bit. What we also saw was the 50% was also support. And that's what you'll see a lot of times. A lot of times you'll see that at some point during the day, the SPY or the market is going to kind of respect or acknowledge that 50% area. And that's why Sarah Strat Sniper, the one who created this indicator, she recognized that. Her and the people that created the strat, they recognize that the 50% is something that the market at least acknowledges almost on a daily basis. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind. So I hope you guys took notes. I hope that was a simple trade. If there's anything else about this trade that you want to know, please let me know so I can answer those questions. Drop them in the chat, whatever the case may be. Or if you want me to take a look at another ticker symbol, we can do that too. But we can also keep going and looking at my trades for this week. So let me go ahead and bring it back. Let's see. So this is what I did this week. This is Monday through Friday. I made $673 this week, not too shabby. Trade Zealous says that on any given trade, I am likely to make about 96 bucks. Big shout out to Q Ma Dukes. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you, everybody who's coming through. But Trade Zealous saying, hey, as of this week, Curtis G can expect to make about $100 on any given trade, which is super dope. And then you can see over here that, oh, let me bring it over a little bit more. All right. So my trade win, my win percentage for this week was 85%. This stuff you really don't have to worry about. Don't let people fool you with their win percentage and stuff like that. The number one thing, of course, in the trading world is that you're profitable. So I'm profitable for this week. I'm profitable so far for the year, for January. So it's really kicking off. I do want to show a reminder about having good trading rules and sticking with them. So if you've been rocking with me on this live for a little bit, you heard me say that more trading typically doesn't cause more money. You don't make more money typically with trading. Now, I'm not trying to put anything on you if you like to take a lot of trades, not by any means at all. Yo, ABZ, thanks for joining. Kin of Love, thanks for joining. Thank y'all for liking the live. But I just want to show you my own trading rules that I have for myself. And so my own trading rule is like, yo, one and done. If like my first trade of the day is profitable, a nice little solid 100, 200, 300 bucks, I go on about my business. I'm out of there. But I also have a trading rule not to do more than two trades no matter what. Now, let me show you what happens for me, at least, when I break that trading rule. So we got right over here. Here's my trading journal. I'm trying to get this squeezed in. This was the start of the week. The first day, Monday, I took 4 trades. Let me bring that up. Y'all might not be able to see that too good. It's always kind of crazy trying to do this. I got to find a better way to show my what's the names. But here we go. Monday, I broke my trading rules and look what happened. Lost money. But when I stuck to my trading rules, look, made money, made money. So definitely something I want to show y'all. Let me go back and let's do the next trade that we can review. So we talked about the SPY. We talked about Amazon. Let's go take a look at Alibaba. I actually have a video on this Alibaba trade on my TikTok. So if you go to my page, my most recent video breaks down this trade, but of course I'm going to do it with y'all. But I do have a full-fledged video that you can watch on this Alibaba trade where I made 260. And as you can see, for the most part, I like to, keep around this $200 range. Monday was really, really gnarly, as we can see. I had that big loss, and then I was trying to claw and fight for everything back. So there we go with that. Ivy Mex says, what are your times to trade? All right, let me see something really quick. You guys can see. So this is also my manual trading journal that I have. And then I marked down my signal times. These were the signal times where I was looking for entry. So this is all my trades for the entire month of January so far. And I promise y'all, one day I'm going to get the OBS hooked up, the Streamlabs, so that I can have the 2 screens in one. And it's a lot better than this, what we're dealing with. But yo, if you're rocking with me today, right now, I'm going to remember all of y'all. So rocking with me back when Curtis G had the lives like this. And a few short months or later on in the year, we're going to look back and laugh. And we're going to talk about how like I was always trying to squeeze everything in the screen. But to answer Formex or IVMEX questions, if you're actually looking for the exact times, it's usually before 10, as you can tell from my trading journal. Usually within like that first hour or two of the market being open, I'm getting my trades in. So I appreciate the likes. Thank you for the likes. Whoever's liking the live, I can't really see sometimes. Oh, it's thank you, Ivy Mix. Thank you. Selena Sells Bricks. A big shout out to Selena Sells Bricks. Y'all go check her out. Super, super dope TikTok influencer creator. Selena Sells Bricks. Really, really dope. Y'all go check her out. All right. So yeah. So that's typically my time frame. I usually trade. This is my trading journal for all my trades for January from the start of the month. Of course, the ones in red were losses. The ones that are in black are the wins. All right. Okay. So we're going to talk about Alibaba on January 9th. And let me kind of move this over. Gosh, this is just craziness. January 9th is Alibaba at 6:30. All right. January 9th. Let me go here. I'm all over the place with it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, let's move this. Where are we at? January 9th. All right, so now we're looking at Alibaba. As y'all can see on the watermark on Trading View, this 30 right here means we're looking at the 30-minute chart. And of course, over here on the left-hand side, this lets us know the ticker symbol that we're trading. So Alibaba, 30-minute chart, and the trade was January 9th. You see, I've got a few things over here marked out. That's a gap. So for me, just a charting tip, I'm just giving y'all suggestions. For me, whenever I see a gap, especially in the extended hours or like the after hours trading, I always just mark it out. I always mark it out. And another thing, all right, outside of using the Sarah Strat Sniper indicator, which we can see like right here, right? The two white lines, the high and the low, and then the 50%. When you are doing your freehand manual, like using your own eyes, and you are plotting out your support and resistance, here's a big thing that really, really helped me in my trading journey is don't just all right, I see Ivy Mex. Ivy Mex says, what platform do you use to trade puts and calls? Now you're gonna laugh right here, bro. Right now I am on Robinhood just because that's been the easiest for me and I've seen the most success. I do plan on gravitating back over to Webull and possibly Thinkorswim. So the goal for myself is to be very, very proficient at Robinhood, Webull, and I think Thinkorswim is combined with another financial institution. But my goal is to get very proficient at three brokers or three platforms. That way I can be able to speak to them intelligently with the community. And if people have questions to do all that. But as of this very moment, I'm on Robinhood. Within the next couple of months, I'll be making my way back to Webull. So I'm just going to be mixing it up and making sure I can navigate and get down on any platform. But don't come at me for using Robinhood right now. That's just where I started with my options trading journey, and I'm just showing love. I appreciate that. Yep. Thank you, man. All right. So I was talking about support and resistance, right? And most of us, and I want y'all to know this about me. I don't knock anything at all. I just want to give you suggestions, just different things to keep in mind. But one thing that has really helped me, especially when it comes to charting out support and resistance, is do not, I shouldn't say do not, but I would encourage you. I'd say, hey, I give y'all a suggestion. When you're doing your support and resistance, do an area, not just a line, but an area. Now, I think I still have it plotted. We're not going to forget about Alibaba. We're going to break down the Alibaba trade, but I just want to show y'all something real quick when it comes to support and resistance. I'm going to go to the daily chart on SPY. Hopefully, I still have it on here. And I think I might have gotten rid of it. And I think I did. Okay. No worries. I think I might have it still on Apple, probably. I just want to show y'all how I do my support and resistance as opposed to just doing a line. I do an area because typically, as we see with like volatility and price fluctuation, it usually would go to an area and not just a straight line. Let me put this on the daily chart. So we're just taking a quick glance. I'm acknowledging, yo, what's up, Kent? Yo, what's up? What's up? Minos Meerkat. Big shout out to Ivy Megs. All right. Well, that's just the gap that I have. All right, so we'll go with Alibaba and I'll just break it all the way down. But what I was saying is if you're doing your support and resistance, do a rectangle, do an area, because when price gets near your support and resistance, it won't necessarily just go straight to that line. So you want to kind of give yourself a little bit of breathing room about what could happen with price, right? So that's all the point that I was making. But now let's break down the Alibaba trade. I think my trading journal has said my signal was at 6:30. All right. And remember, I'm in California West Coast time. So if you're looking at my time, like the clock down here on trading view, remember California time, the stock market opens up for us at 6:30 a.m. and it closes at 1 p.m. So that's why my times might be different from yours. If you're in a different time zone, Alibaba, it was calls. All right. Oh, and it was on the ninth. It was on the ninth. That's what's throwing me off. Here we go. Here we go. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for joining. Thanks for rocking with me. I think we got a few people that's been here for a minute. So I just want to acknowledge y'all. Thank you for being in here. I think we got Lizzie. I think we got Letitia. I think we got Qma Dukes. We got a few people. Of course, we got Ivy Mex, 4Mex on here. So y'all that have been with me for a few minutes, just rocking the live. I can't express to y'all enough how much it means to me. All right, here we go. Another one. We kind of saw this similar with the what was it, the Amazon trade? But here we go. So we had some very crazy bearish momentum, this gap down on the ninth for Alibaba. Now, if anybody's familiar with the gap fill strategy, remember this live is for the beginners. So if you know about gap fill, I'm just going to keep it simple. I know people when you're in here, yep, I appreciate that, man. Thanks, Ivy Mix. It says you're doing great, sharing your knowledge. That means a lot. Thank you so much. Now, for the new traders out there, there is a strategy called the gap filled strategy. Now, almost time 69. Thanks for joining. But there's a strategy called the gap fill strategy. And like I said earlier, I always like to at least acknowledge if there was a gap that occurred, because typically, and this is how the gap fill strategy works, wherever there's a gap down, like what we see here, out of nowhere, price just appeared down, a gap down, or even a gap up, out of nowhere, the price appeared up. Typically, at some point, it may not be the same day, it may not be the same week, the same hour, whatever, but at some point, the price of a stock is going to try at least to fill this gap. So we saw this strong bearish push down on the price, but we had this gap on top of it that I knew at a minimum the stock Alibaba was going to try to get up to. It's going to try to fill that gap. So we had this bearish activity in the pre-market. But what happened? We had this nice a bullish engulfing candle. And this was my signal. On top of having this gap up here, we had this bullish engulfing, and this was my signal to get in and do a quick call. Now, you might look at this and be like, yo, like this was kind of tight. And this is why the beautiful thing about scalping and not being greedy is you have the ability to get into these tight spaces. You have the ability to get into these tight spaces, make profit, and then keep it pushing. And that's the dope thing about not being greedy, right? So I don't want to make you bias or sway your mind. I'm just letting you know that's why this style of trading really works for me, because I can get into the tight space, get my money, and then slide on out and keep it pushing, as opposed to trying to shoot for the moon, go crazy, and think that Alibaba was going to go and turn into a 10 times, 100 times, 50 times, whatever the case may be. DC, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining, everybody. So, like I said, and y'all can see just from my trades here, I keep it super, super simple. And I think part of what allows me to keep it simple is scalping, but you also have to do some real research and digging to see if scalping is a style of trading that works for you. For some people, it's the swing trading that's a lot better. And like I said, I'll be getting into more swing trading. I'll be talking about swing trading and giving those plays a lot more. I drop them every once in a while when I'm really looking at the market or I'm really looking at a stock and I can see, for instance, if you've been following me, there was a time I got to pull it up. But if you follow me on TikTok and Instagram, I had called where to take puts about a week in advance for Apple. And if you got in, you had a nice week just to ride it all the way down from the middle of December, something like that. I have to go back and check the notes or whatnot. But bit by bit, I'm going to be incorporating more swing trades for those of us that don't have either the capacity or just the, opportunity to do a scalp. Some of us, sometimes we need the ability to have 1 or 2 days to get into a trade and then a few days for them to pan out to get in and out. So more swing trades from Curtis G to come. But with that being said, for those of us that are on the live right now, do you have any questions? Big shout out to Ivy Mex or 4Mex because he's been asking questions. But for Letitia or anybody that's on right now, any questions at all that you have for me, please, 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 because the number one thing that I want to do is give y'all value. That's the most important. I could talk about the things that I want to talk about, but if it's not helping you, then there's no point in me talking about them. So if you have any questions, you can drop those in the chat, or if you want to talk. That's right. Ivy Mex, I feel you. No patience. Fast and furious, get in and out, get done. And like I said, that's what's happening with me. I've been scalping so much that I'm starting to lose my patience. And that's why I got to start incorporating some of those swing trades to teach me to be patient again. Because like I said earlier, after about 10 minutes, I'm like, yo, what's going on? What is happening with this trade? So I feel you on that. I feel you. But like I said, any questions? This is for the noobs, for the beginners, those of us that are new. All right. I wish I could pronounce your name, the person that has the foreign characters. Why didn't the gap get filled? Now that could be a couple of reasons. So let's do an investigation because I really don't know the answer, right? We might be in a bearish trend for Alibaba, which kind of looks like it. So I'm going to expand this to the daily chart just to take a look. All right, that just kind of went crazy. Alibaba just went gnarly. Oh wow. And in that moment, so that's the first kind of indication to me that we were someone in the bear. So we're looking at the daily chart. So each one of these candles now represents a day. And one thing that I can quickly notice, we're taking this together. So you're getting my first thoughts without me even knowing what the question was, just answering the question about why didn't the gap get filled. What we can see here is that the way that Alibaba trades is it's a pretty gappy stock, right? If we look back here, this appears to be, what is this? December 15th, we had a huge gap up, right? And then we had this gap up from December 18th going into the 19th, a small little gap there. So the first thing I noticed is that Alibaba, the way that this stock trades, at least on a daily basis, there's gaps. We can see some gaps up here. This appears to be the end of December. So this is December 27th going into the 28th. And then what I also noticed is that it takes days for the gaps to be filled, right? So if we look at this gap here that happened on December 14th going into the 15th, it didn't get filled until January. So we're talking about, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. So to answer your question, just off the best of my knowledge and just looking, the reason why the gap didn't get filled the same day is because the way that Alibaba trades is it usually probably takes more than a couple of days for gaps to get filled. Because look, we got a gap right here that just happened on January 4th that needs to get filled. January 4th going into the 5th. So if I was to be looking to day trade Alibaba stocks, right? If I was a day trader, not a scalper, but if I was a day trader, or more importantly, if I was a swing trader and I saw this gap down on Alibaba and I was expecting to try to play for it to get filled, I would be looking for options contracts that were at least a few weeks out, some calls, because we might be starting this uptrend to come back up to the upside. But as we can see from history, it takes days, if not weeks, for Alibaba to close its gaps. So I would I would be looking for options contracts that were weeks out to try to fill this gap. It doesn't appear to be a stock that closes the gap the same day consistently. All right, we got a couple comments. All right. So user 472828939393 says thoughts on Tesla stock. Is crazy how much it keeps going down. It's on the 50 moving average weekly chart. I'm going to take a look at that. Give me just a second. I'm not going to forget about you. Ivy Mex says, so how many indicators you use and how you apply them to trade to go in and out? Ah, good question. I'm going to be very real. Now, what we see on my favorites, and I haven't forgot about Tesla. I haven't forgot about you. I got you right there. But so over time, these are all the indicators right here that I've added to my favorites. Shan, thanks for the follow. Thank you so much for the Shan. Shan, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Now, the ones that I use on a daily basis, you guys have already told me, or I've already told y'all about the SSS 50% rule. That's daily. And then I'm going to show y'all, where is it at? I use the Strat Assistant. That's every day. That's the indicator I use every day. And then it might be a little hard to see, but this wedge maker, the wedge maker right here, uh, I use every day. Those three I use every single day. These other ones, I have them on, but I really don't rely on them. As a matter of fact, they might even get deleted pretty soon from my favorites. But the 50% rule right here, the where is it at? Where is it at? The strat assistant and then the wedge maker are the ones that I use on a daily basis. Give me just a moment. Let me bring this down. Yeah, I was a so I kind of combine the indicators. I kind of combine the indicators. Now, the second part to your question was, how do I apply them to get in and out? And so I usually use the indicators mainly as, and we kind of talked about that, right? So if something, let's say I'm entering, let's say where was it at? Because we did it with, was it Spy? Or we did it with a few of them, but I'll show you right now, right? Remember, the number one thing for me is scalping and just getting the quick profits. And a lot of times that's really before one of the indicators will kind of come into play. So we'll do a quick little recap. I haven't forgot about Tesla. I haven't forgot about Tesla. I have not forgot about Tesla. So if you're still on, I'm going to answer the Tesla question, but I want to take care of IVMEX. So right here, right? This was the trade that I did for today. I got in right here on the puts and I scalped. Now, realistically, if I wanted to use Sarah's 50% rule, I could have just waited until it got down to the 50% rule and then got out here. That's how I would use it when it gets to support. But for me, I'd rather just take my profits and go instead of trying to wait till something later, right? If my profits come to me and I'm satisfied with them, a couple $100, I'll go. But let's just say the trade wasn't quite to where I was satisfied, then I would have used the 50% rule as an area to target to get out on those puts. So that's how I would use it. I hope that answers the question. I appreciate that. Said, "Oh, name it Curtis." That's crazy. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate that. I'm gonna have to come up with the IV Mex, the 4 Mex one. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so somebody asked about Tesla. I hope you're still on. I hope you didn't leave. Shan, thank you for the like and thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate y'all 1000%. Let me go ahead and bring up Tesla. Where you at? There's Tesla. So if you're new and you don't know what we're using right here, it says still here, take your time. I appreciate that. Yep, yep. So if you're new and you like this, I'm going to speak to the beginners right now. If you like, or like, what are we even using? What this platform is? It is a platform called TradingView, which is loading right now and it's taking forever. But it is a platform called TradingView, and it's like the industry standard for what most retail traders, people like us, used to do the charting of their stocks. So you want to look up TradingView. They have a free version and a paid version. I have the paid version, but I'll keep it real with you. For the longest time, I wasn't even using most of these features from the paid version. So you can definitely make do with the free version. All right. So we were asked about Tesla. We are looking at the daily chart on Tesla, which almost looks like it's trading in a range to a degree. We are, as the person said, we are in this downward slope. So it looks like, wow, I'm going to be real. I haven't traded Tesla in a long time. And I don't even remember when I put this support and resistance up here. But look, I wish I could check to see when I added this on here because I haven't traded Tesla in probably 2 months or something like that. So remember, like I said, support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support. And this kind of is holding true. But before we get too distracted, look at this crazy downtrend that we're in and look at this. Look what had to happen. So that person was saying it's crazy because it keeps going down, but it looks like we have somewhat of a gap activity that needed to be filled. So it looks like we have this gap, and it kind of was a little bit filled, kind of, if you look right here, but it wasn't quite completely. So, first thing my eyes are seeing is that there was this gap from back in November. This is the daily chart for Tesla that Tesla needed to come back down anyway. But it depends. It's debatable if you really want to still consider this a gap and whether or not it was filled. But now let's look at this daily trend. Look at it; it's going down. Like it really is going down, right? And not to sound cheesy, I feel like I sounded hella cheesy right now. That was wild. Um, but what I would do if I'm looking to trade, yeah, heavily oversold. Um, on the weekly chart, it could possibly bounce off the 50 MA. Let me go back. Let me check out the weekly. Let me check out the weekly. All right, so we're looking at the weekly. Now, each one of these, since we changed the time frame, this is for the noobs out there, for us beginners. Each one of these candlesticks now represents 1 week of time. So what this shows us right here, This candle right here is this week. This is exactly what Tesla did for this entire week. Now, I'm just reminded about time frame continuity. That's something that I also use too, but I use it more so in a way to give me confidence, right? So if I'm taking calls, I'll be looking for the full time frame continuity. These arrows right here with these letters, I'll be looking for them to be green arrows pointing up. If I'm in puts, I'll be looking for them to be just like how they are now. And I just use it as a one little thing to give me confidence. I don't use it as a thing that I take action on. I just use it as something to give me confidence. So that's also with the strat indicator, which is what these numbers are. So if you add the strat as an indicator that you use, it'll automatically include the full time frame continuity. And the lower your time frame is, the more you're going to see. So we're still going to break down Tesla in this downtrend and possibly try to chart out where we think a bounce is going to happen. Because shout out to user 472828933393 talking about it could bounce on this weekly. So we're not going to get away from there. We got somebody asking about BNTX. So I'll check that out for you too. Give me just a moment. Somebody's at Mocha Ray's asking about the strat. All right. So what I wanted to show though, we're going to take it step by step, this full time frame continuity. When you go to the lower time frames, it'll expand out. So y'all, like, if you know me, you've been rocking with me. I like to trade on the 30-minute. So I'm going to change Tesla to the 30-minute chart. And look what happened with the full time frame continuity indicator. It shows the 30-minute, the hour, the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, the monthly, the quarterly. So if you go to a higher time frame, it'll only focus on things that are above that. So whatever time frame you're on is going to show everything above it. And because I like to trade on the 30-minute, it's showing me everything 30 and above. Now, just to do a quick recap, and I'll keep it pushing to get back to what we were talking about. I only use this section here just as a way to determine like kind of how confident I would be in a trade. Meaning, if I were to take calls, if I was to take calls right now with Tesla, I might not have that much confidence because I don't have full time frame continuity pointing up. But if all of these arrows were pointing up, I would have a lot of confidence in my calls. If I was in puts right now, I might be a little bit more confident. Now, me personally, I've noticed that if the 4 hour and the daily are not on the same page, it usually indicates a little bit of chop. But that's my own subjective analysis that I've done. So don't take it as gospel, but that's just for me. But okay, I just wanted to remind y'all because I don't think I spoke about that earlier. I do like to use the full time frame continuity to help me with how confident I might be in a trade. Let's go back to the weekly chart on Tesla, which is also reminding me, I actually haven't used moving averages in a long time. For some reason, when I first got into trading, they kind of just didn't work out well for me. So I gravitated away from them, but I'm not knocking them. But if I was to just use my own style in conjunction with what you're talking about, and I haven't forgot about BNTX. So Vivoon, if you're still on, I'm gonna check it out. But give me just a moment. All right, the crazy part is the delivery numbers for Q4 were good, but it went down. Yeah, man. See, that's all market maker stuff, man. Like, especially if you look at earnings, let's just take a moment to have a little commentary right now. If you look at earnings, you'll see some companies are they'll beat expectations, right? Revenue and earnings per share, but the stock will still go down. And me personally, I think it's because it's just the market makers. I think they already have a lot of things predefined, regardless of what a company's performance is. I think they just have like, hey, this is the way we're gonna move the market. That's my own opinion. That's my own opinion. That's it. Well, Ray's talking about the strat. So hey, if you're very, very new to trading and you kind of need help with your entries and exits, go learn the strat. Go check out the strat. The same young lady who created the Sarah Strat Sniper indicator that I was telling y'all about, she is big in the strat community. She has a great YouTube channel where she breaks down the strat a whole lot. So go check her out and that'll really break it down for you. I use the strat. I still keep it as it's still on my chart, as you can see on all of my charts. I don't use it as much, but it is a good guide and it just really does help you with your entries and exits. So I would say I would keep that on there. We'll see what happens Q4 earnings on the 24th. Let me see what. Oh yeah. Oh, and they might be pushing it down for a nice little run up. Who knows? I mean, let me see. But we're on this weekly chart. Uh, I don't know how big you are on like candlestick patterns or anything like that, but we hit this kind of boom and we bounced up. This is the weekly boom and you bounced up. So if you like to trade the weekly, I don't know how you do. It seems based on what you're telling me, because you were talking about the weekly, right? On your options contracts, are you buying them like months out? If you don't mind me asking, like how far out are you buying your options contracts? Carlos Sunny Riches, thanks for joining. Thank you for the follow. Beat up 51. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, all right. So for me, and we might have a little bit right here. Right here, I see a resistance. Oh, I don't even have it on the screen all the way. Right here on this weekly, this is the weekly chart we're talking about. This is where I see a little resistance. And what did I say? Right? Resistance becomes support, and support does. I do swing trades and scalps, not options, just shares with high capital. Nice, nice. That's where I want to be. I want to be in the shares with high capital. That's where I'm trying to get to. Yes. Shout out to you. Big shout out to Disruptive Investments. That's a nice trader, creator, definitely does options trading, Disruptive Investments. So shout out to you, bro. Um, Thanks for joining the live. I appreciate you. Y'all can check out Disruptive Investments. Natalia, thank you for joining. All right, so we're looking at this weekly chart on Tesla, right? Now, my eye, oh, my bad, my bad. We're going back to Annika you. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow, Annika you. Here is where my eye sees some resistance. And remember earlier, I gave y'all a suggestion not to just do a line, but to do a rectangle when plotting out your resistance. So I'm gonna kind of struggle right now, but y'all just rock with me for just a second. I'm always trying to do this around the phone, but I would do somewhat of something like this. This is gonna be a quick little freehand. This is gonna be a quick little, like, not exactly perfect. We're on this weekly chart, and look how it's playing out. I didn't even look at this. I haven't even looked at Tesla. Look how this is playing out. So I would kind of be getting myself prepared to possibly think about some calls, especially with earnings, right? So as we're talking about earnings is coming up soon. So in this area here, going back to what is this? Uh this is of March. So this is like February, March of 2023. So we're almost at a year later. When Tesla comes down into this range, I would be looking to get some calls. I'll be looking to get calls. Vivoon says like supply and demand, kinda. When I first started to learn, when I first thought got into trading, I always associated support and resistance with supply and demand, and they're kind of like close siblings or cousins. They're definitely related, but there are some distinctions in there. There are some distinctions that you should make, and I wish I had the words to be able to explain it more clearly. So I'll get better at that. But they are closely related, but they aren't the same. Okay, okay. So if I was to think about a potential trade to the upside for Tesla, especially with earnings coming up, and you have to be very, very careful with playing earnings, because anything can happen with these companies. But based off of what I could see here on this weekly chart, I would be looking for some level of support, because remember, support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support. Look, you can even see it. Look at right here. This where the cursor's at. First we have resistance, and then Tesla came down and bounced up, came back down and bounced up. So I would look for it to come down a little bit more. Then I would be looking for some long calls, going out maybe a couple months just to play it safe. But Tesla option contracts are very expensive, and that's why I've kind of gravitated away from playing them. And the spreads are very wide. Companies like Tesla, I think. What are some other ones? What was I just looking at? But one thing I don't like, and I'm glad we're landing on this, is I don't like when a ticker symbol or a company's options contracts have wide spreads. I don't. I'm not knocking them. It's just when I get into a trade and the spread is wide, and I don't want to go too far into the intermediate for our new traders, but when the spread is wide, it just is, if you want to get out of the trade, it's almost like a guaranteed loss to a degree. Um, so Ivy Mex has asked a couple times, do I have a community to join on Discord, brother? I do. My community is called Passive Income University. It's mainly about financial literacy. Of course, I have all of my options trading and things on there. So I want to be straight up. It's not really a signals community. I do put some of the trades that I'm thinking about, whether it's swing trades, definitely my scalps and stuff like that in there. But it's more about teaching you how to fish. And the thing about my community is you get the first 30 days free. You get full access to all of my recorded videos, everything like that is in there. And then after that is $10 a month. But the goal is to help you cultivate your own strategy. So I don't want you to look at it as like a signals community. And I'm very proud that you get the first 30 days free because I feel like we're in this era right now where so many people are scamming and they're just trying to take and take and take. So I figure the minimum that I can do is give, at least 30 days free for you to try it out, see some of the exclusive things that we have, the one-on-ones, the Q&As, all that kind of stuff. And then if you want to rock, it's just $10 a month. So my community is Passive Income University. They got the link in the bio, but I'm just happy to give the free game and the value right here. Now, I'm gonna keep saying this. User 472828939393 says, "What's your biggest loss and how did you deal with it?" I'm really glad that you asked that question because I actually have it. If you join the community, I have my trading journal open to everybody. So if you join, you had I hook up my trading journal and it's public view, so I can't hide. I put all of my trades in there, win, lose, or draw, bad, my trading performance. It's open for everybody to see. But I also, because it really means a lot to me to give a new trader a real timeline of what this looks like, this journey. Let me try to fix this out. So in the community, in the Discord, I have this timeline of all of my milestones. And right here, March 19th, 2021, largest single trade loss to date. This was my largest loss. Largest loss right here was $2,800 on a single trade. So almost $3,000 I lost in a single trade. And I'm going to be real with you. That didn't affect me too much mentally. I think I was a little shocked in the moment that I lost like the money that fast on a single trade. More so, what has affected me mentally in terms of losses is like when I was, down tens of thousands of dollars. So I'm going to tell y'all something straight up. I'm going to be completely transparent. If you are new to trading, right, you will be tempted to do things that you think will help you make a lot of money that you think is just like, oh, if I could just do this, I'll get a lot of money. I'm going to tell you exactly different things that I've done, right? I have done cash advances off of a credit card where I took $5,000, $7,000 off of a credit card and lost the money. That, even though I didn't lose it in a single trade, that was mentally devastating. We're talking about where I lost sleep. So how I got over that was taking a step away from trading, whether it was for a few days or a week or 2 weeks. And then B, you have to have something outside of trading that balances you out. So if you like to clear your mind playing video games, working out, reading, spending time with family, you really have to have something super strong and important to you that in a way is more important to trading, that kind of grounds you and brings you back to reality. So for me, when I've gone through devastating losses and things like that, I tap back into the things that are the most important to me outside of and above trading. Celine Sells Brick says, "I'm so glad you're talking about this. Losing that kind of money really can feel devastating." Yes, yes. And I've done things like that where it's like, yo, and so let that be a fair warning. I was just thinking about this earlier today. If you feel like, yo, all I need is more money, more capital to trade, especially trading options, but you believe that you have a profitable trading edge or trading setup, but you just say, hey, if I could just get more money, then you need patience, which is one of the most important things that you have to have in trading. So if you feel like if I just had more money, then lean on your patience, get disciplined with patience, because if your trading edge or trading setup really is profitable, you will get there. It just is going to take time. Don't try to shortcut it. If you're not patient and you try to cheat and do the shortcut like I did, it will burn you because ultimately you're really not ready to have that much money anyway. And I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but just think about it. If your trading setup, your trading plan, and your style is profitable, then over time you're going to get to where you need to be. But if it isn't profitable and you get a hold of money that you really shouldn't be having, you're going to have some devastating losses. And then that brings us back to, how do you clear your mental? You got to have something above and outside of trading that really helps you. Let me make sure I didn't miss any comments. You're completely correct. It can, man. I had sleepless nights with how much I've lost before. Yes, yes, sleepless nights. I know exactly what you're talking about. And for some of us, it affects our personality and the way that we interact with our loved ones and our, friends and family, and people can't understand it and it's hard to explain it. So definitely is one of those things where, and I'll say it just one more time to answer the question, when I have, or when I've had something kind of devastating, a loss like that in trading, I immediately take a step back and go into something else outside of trading that's above it, that's more important to me. And that helps me refresh and snap back. But like I said, if you join the community, I have all of these things here open to the public, my embarrassing moments, my losses, all these different milestones, to give people a good idea of, what it's been like. So got some new messages, great advice. Yeah, I appreciate you, sister. Celine sells bricks. A big shout out to you. So I want to. Oh, somebody asked me about BNTX. I was just about to wrap it up. BNTX. Let me go find you. Somebody asked about BNTX. Hopefully you're still on. BNTX. I think that's a crypto. I don't even know off the top. Let me see. Somebody. All right. I don't know if that person's still on. Hopefully, if you're still on, if you asked about BNTX, um, I'm gonna go take a look right now. Give me just a moment. Let's go to Trading View. Hold on, y'all. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Give me just a moment. I was just about to wrap it up, y'all. I was just about to wrap it up. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the likes. Cool. You're here. You're here. Let's get a new chart going on. All right. So, unless I already know about this, which it doesn't seem like I do, let's give trading. All right. All right. Good night, bro. Yeah. Big shout out to you. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Yo, Dale. What's up? What's up? I There's one person I think's been rocking with me since the beginning. I think that's Lizzie Monroe. If you're still here, I don't think you said anything. I think you liked the live, but big shout out to you. All right, let me go and type this in. Is this the right one? Is this what we're talking about right here? Let me make sure. BioNTech SE. I haven't heard of this. I haven't heard. K Suleiman's in the building. All right, so we got BNTX. Let me kind of get myself situated. Let's move this up. It's on the weekly chart right now. Let's do some zooming in. I feel like this is all out of whack. It's completely just kind of got beaten up. It had some it had highs back here in July of 2021, and it's really just been on the decline all the way down. So this would be something that I'd have to really research and look into. Let me see. What do we know about this? So I'm on TradingView. The dope thing about TradingView is it gives you a lot of information over on the side about what you're looking at. Um, but this is what I wanted to find. It's so hard. It's kind of hard for me to read it through the screen, but it says BioNTech SE operates as an immunotherapy company, which engages therapies for cancer and other serious diseases. Its products pipeline include BNT 162B2, BNT 161, all of these different treatments. The company was founded by Christopher Huber and a couple of other people. All right, so for the one that asked about BNTX, and this appears to be like a pharmaceutical company cancer treatment. There is a website, and I used to talk about this all the time because one of the things that I really touch on more is long-term investing. That's why my community is called Passive Income University. Basically, I'm going to step over to the side. Rock with me, y'all. Just stick with me. Stick with me. The goal of my Discord community isn't to teach you how to trade. The goal is to help you build passive income sources. The way that I do it for myself is I take the profits from my trading And then I use that to build a long-term portfolio of stocks, especially stocks that pay dividends. And that's one way that I build my passive income. So the goal of my community is to help you learn new skills, whether it's to get your resume updated, help you get into real estate, whatever the case may be, so you could build passive income. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because when I talk about the long term investing, especially if you're interested in a stock like this, BNTX, that's a pharmaceutical company, there is a website, and I don't know if you're aware about it. The person who asked, there is a website that gives you the calendar. I did do long term trades. I feel you. I feel you. But even with your trading, right? Trading or investing, I'm trying to think of it because it's been a while since I've gone to the website. And you let me know if you've already heard of it. It is called Biofarm Catalyst. Have you heard of that website? Let me know. Have you heard of Biofarm Catalyst, that website? No, you haven't. All right. So this website right here, I used to talk about it all the time for the long-term stocks. So here we go. Biofarm Catalyst. IVMX is on. This website right here, and you can do the free version or pay. This website gives you a heads up when the biopharmaceutical companies are going to go in front of the FDA and get approval for new cancer drugs and things like that. So, based on this BNTX that you're putting us on, the first thing I would do is check Biofarm Catalyst. Let's see if they got anything in here. Here we go. And then they can tell you if they have any scheduled like releases, if they're going to be meeting with the FDA, did they get FDA approval, things like that. So this is where I would go. And one thing that you can do is look at their calendar. I'm trying to, all right. So a lot of this is blocked off, which is no bueno, but there is, let's see, all the upcoming catalysts are blocked off. That's interesting. It looks like they got the same kind of interface as TradeZella, but they used to have, oh, they got a Discord now. They used to have a lot of this stuff would be open. It's been a minute since I've been here. But if you go over here on the left-hand side to Catalyst calendars, and you want to check out FDA calendar and the PDUFA calendar, these are really, really important catalysts for biopharmaceutical companies. So the first thing I would do is I would go through here and see as much as I can learn about BNTX, but that's more on the fundamental side. Now, if we wanted to take a look at the technical side, I'm going to just be real with you, man. This has been kind of beat up. There's a gap up here that needs to be, was this filled? Can y'all see this? See this gap over here? There's a gap from the end of 2021 that it seems like it needs to be filled. Let's chart it out really quick because we could be expecting a catalyst to the upside. And if you're in this already before it happens, you could be sitting very, very nice. It doesn't look like it looks pretty close though. It looks like it might have been filled already. Let's see. I can't quite tell. I can't quite tell. I'm gonna just kind of freehand this, y'all. I can't wait till I get the little studio set up a little bit better and I got the real like OBS or the Streamlabs going on. That way I'm not looking all crazy. So it hasn't quite been filled. There could be upside opportunity if there's a catalyst. Like if they get approval for a cancer treatment or a drug or something, it could skyrocket. You know, you don't want to be naive or blind or diamond hands like they say in Wall Street bets. You kind of want to be smart about it. But look, we've got resistance. It keeps coming up to this price level and rejecting, keeps coming up and rejecting, keeps coming up and rejecting. And now we just had this downtrend. So I wasn't too sure. For sure, for sure, for sure. I wasn't too sure if I answered your questions, but I would just say, if you're in it for the long haul and you have conviction about this, I would be looking for some indicators for catalysts because that's what's gonna get it back up here to close this gap. If they get approval for some type of cancer drug or something like that, it'll help to push this price right back up. Let's see. But we are at what appears to be a support level too, a little bit above a support level. If I was to think about trading this like options contracts, uh, I don't know. I can't quite call it, not based off this weekly chart. I would just be cautious. I would be cautious right now. I would definitely lean on the news. I would lean on news events for this. All right, the XRP Queen says XRP Unleashed documentary, a documentary coming to streaming watch on Fruition Production. That sounds like an ad. Much appreciated for sure, for sure. So I appreciate y'all rocking with me. You know, I do the daily lives. Check out my TikTok, my Instagram. Of course, you can send me a message on Instagram. I'll answer questions. I'll be tapped in tomorrow at some time. But for all of you that have been rocking with me, Celine Sells Bricks, Lizzie Monroe, Vavoon, everybody, 4Mex, Ivy Mex, all of y'all, it means a great deal that you rocked with me on this Friday night, January the 12th. It means more than I could ever express. But yo, if you join Passive Income University, you get the first 30 days free. I like to give monthly giveaways to my community for supporting me. Last year, I was able to do $500 giveaways. This year, my goal is to do $1,000 giveaways. So if you do join, I don't like to plug or oversell, but like I said, I am very proud of it. It's a small community. So I'll see y'all over there. But y'all have a great Friday night. Have a safe weekend, and y'all will hear from me sometime tomorrow. All right, peace. And it's a street thing.